When we talk about evolution, we usually think of this painfully slow process. Fish crawling onto land, millions of years. It's a grind.
It is not exactly a spectator sport, no.
But today, we're looking at an evolutionary explosion that just happened at absolute warp speed. We're talking about a musical species, house music, that didn't just conquer the globe.
No.
It splintered into 1,000 different variations in, less than 3 decades. It's like a biological Big Bang.
That's a surprisingly accurate way to frame it. You start with one single genetic template in Chicago, that 44 beat, and then suddenly you have this massive, sprawling family tree.
Where the branches look almost nothing like the roots.
Exactly.
And that's our mission today. We are doing a deep dive into Masters of the Mix, the house music story, specifically their breakdown of the house family tree. And what I love about this source is that it doesn't just list the genres like a catalog, it gets into the why.
The catalyst, it's key. The last deep dive we did was about house music traveling geographically, right? Chicago to London, New York. But this is about the music traveling internally. It's about producers in studios maybe getting bored, maybe just curious, and asking that very dangerous question, what if?
The what if factor.
Precisely. What if we make it deeper? What if we break the machine? What if we make it, I don't know, more aggressive?
And that one question gave us everything from, the most meditative, quiet music to the loudest stadium-filling sounds imaginable.
Yep.
So today we're tracing that lineage. We're going to go from the soulful chords of deep house, the happy accidents of acid, the epic journeys of progressive, and all the way up to the explosion of big room.
And as we go, I want you to just keep one thing in mind. Function. None of these genres were created in a vacuum. They were all made to solve a problem on the dance floor.
I love that. Solving a problem on the dance floor. Okay, so let's start at the roots, or maybe the soul, because one of the first big splinters is this thing called deep house.
Ah, the most misunderstood term in dance music history, without a doubt.
I'm so glad you said that, because if I search deep house on Spotify right now, I get a very confusing mix. I get deep house for studying, and half the time it's just pop music played slowly.
Or elevator music with a beat. Yeah.
So what are we actually talking about here?
Real deep house. Okay, you got to go back to the mid-'80s, Chicago, and to get it, you have to know what it was reacting against. Early house, the stuff Frankie Knuckles was playing, it was high energy. They called it jack heavy.
Jack being the dance move, right? The whole jack your body thing.
Exactly. It was frantic, sweat dripping from the ceiling music, super physical. But then you have this guy, Larry Heard, who went by the name Mr. Fingers.
Mr. Fingers.
Yeah.
Still one of the best names in music history.
Absolute legend. Now, Larry Heard was a musician, a keys player, and he looked at that frantic energy and asked, well, what if I just slow this down?
Okay.
He dropped the tempo to maybe 118, 120 BPM, and instead of just banging on a drum machine, he brought in these complex, beautiful jazz chords.
So he made it prettier.
He made it sophisticated, but the biggest instrument he added wasn't a keyboard, it was space.
Space.
Yeah, silence, restraint. If you listen to his track, Can You Feel It from '86, it's shocking how empty it feels compared to other music from then. It's hypnotic. It just washes over you.
That makes sense. It doesn't sound like it's for the peak of the night when everyone is screaming.
It isn't. The source makes this really beautiful point. Deep house is mature in emotion. It's music you can dance to, yes, but it's also music you can drive to at 2 a.m. It's introspective.
Just asking you to feel something, not just move.
Right. It connects back to the blues and jazz roots of Black American music. It's melancholic, but it's also hopeful.
And this branch of the tree, it didn't just die out in the 80s. It feels like it's having a huge moment right now.
It never went away. And if you look at the world right now, in 2026, it has found a massive second life in South Africa.
The source mentioned black coffee.
A huge global star. And the whole Amapiano movement, which is dominating everywhere, is a direct descendant. It's the spiritual side of the family tree.
Okay, so deep house is these sophisticated, jazzy, introspective sibling, but every family has a weirdo.
The black sheep, absolutely.
So let's talk about acid house, because if deep house was this calculated, soulful decision, acid house seems like a complete and total mistake.
It was 100% a mistake. And it's my favorite story in this whole breakdown because it just proves that sometimes failing is way better than succeeding.
Okay, set the scene for us. Who made the mistake?
It's 1985, Chicago again. You've got a group called Future DJ Pierre, Spanky, and Herb Jackson. And they get their hands on this piece of gear called the Roland TB-303.
Okay, so for the non-gearheads listening,
Yeah.
what is a TB-303 supposed to be?
It was marketed as a bassline composer. The
Yeah.
idea was you're a guitarist, you don't have a bass player, so you buy this little silver box to practice with.
Does it sound like a bass guitar?
It sounded absolutely nothing like a bass guitar. It was thin, electronic, kind of pathetic, honestly. It was a massive commercial failure, a total flop.
So they ended up in pawn shops for cheap.
Yeah, for like 50 bucks. Exactly. So Future brings this thing home. They don't have the manual, and they have no idea how to program it correctly. And this is the what if moment. They just start twisting the knobs while a pattern is playing.
Which knobs are we talking about?
Specifically, the resonance and the cutoff frequency.
Okay, help us audiolize that. What happens when you twist those?
So when you crank the resonance on a 303, the machine starts to, well, it screams. You get this whistling feedback C tone. And when you move the cutoff, you're opening and closing a filter, so the sound goes from a muffled, underwater bubbling to a bright, biting, aggressive buzz.
The classic wow, wow, wow sound.
That's the one. It sounds liquid. It squelches.
And Future recorded this.
They did. They made a track called Acid Tracks. It's 12 minutes of just this machine going nuts. DJ Ron Hardy played it, and at first the crowd just stopped. They cleared the floor. They thought something was broken.
They probably thought that speakers were literally blowing out.
I'm sure. But Hardy played it again and again. And by the fourth time that night, the crowd went insane. It's psychedelic. It's hypnotic.
Why does that work? I mean, it's kind of an annoying sound, objectively. Why does that make people dance?
It's all about tension and release, that filter sweep. It creates a physical sensation of rising intensity. It grabs your brain and twists it.
And the legacy of that mistake is everywhere now.
Everywhere. Anytime you hear that squelchy, bubbling synth line in a modern techno or rave track, that is the ghost of the TB-303, a failed bass guitar synth.
I love that. Creativity through misuse.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we've got the soul of deep house, the weird science of acid. Let's move into the 90s. The parties are getting bigger, moving into massive warehouses, and people are starting to get bored of the short loops.
They wanted a story. They wanted an epic.
Enter progressive house. Now, when I hear progressive, I think of prog rock like Pink Floyd 20-minute guitar solos. Is that a fair comparison?
It's actually a very good comparison. Progressive house came out of the UK in the early 90s as a reaction to the short, repetitive American tracks. DJs like Sasha and John Digweed, they wanted to mix tracks that were long, complicated, and evolved.
How long are we talking?
8, 9, 10 minutes, sometimes longer.
That's a long time for one song on a dance floor.
It is, but the structure is different. Progressive house has a long intro, a slow build, a breakdown where everything just strips away, and then a massive climax.
So it's a journey. It's cinematic.
It's architecture. It's built to keep you in a trance. The tempo's a bit faster, maybe 126 to 130 BPM, but the main feeling is just forward motion.
And the sound itself, what are the textures?
Usually it's lush, atmospheric, lots of floating synthesizer pads. It's immersive. Those Renaissance compilations from Sasha and Digweed are basically the Bible for the sound.
But this genre changed a lot, didn't it? Because if I say progressive house to a 20-year-old now, they aren't thinking of a dark club in 1993. They're thinking of, like, Swedish House Mafia.
Right. And this is where the family tree gets confusing. In the late 2000s, the term got hijacked to describe what we'd call big room progressive. Artists like Avicii, Alesso.
The huge festival anthems.
Exactly. They kept the structure, the long build-ups, the big emotional chords, but they made it pop music. It became less about a subtle journey and more about a massive shared moment for 50,000 people.
Okay, we'll get to the stadium stuff in a minute. But before that, there's this other genre that feels like the reliable backbone of the club world. It's not as emotional as deep, not as weird as acid. It's the hybrid.
Tech house.
This one always feels like the middle child to me.
In a good way. It emerged mid-90s because you had house on one side, soulful, swingy vocals, and techno on the other, cold, mechanical, dark. And producers basically asked, what if we dress house music in techno's clothes?
So it's house with a cold heart.
Or techno with a groove. It's darker than house, but it's funkier than techno. It strips away the big pianos and just focuses on rhythm and texture.
The source calls it the DJ's tool. That sounds a little unglamorous.
But it's so practical. Think about it. You're a DJ playing a 4-hour set. You can't play screaming acid for 4 hours. You'll give everyone a headache.
Right.
You can't play ambient deep house. They'll fall asleep. Tech house sits right in that pocket. It's groovy enough to keep you moving, but deep enough that it doesn't get annoying.
I always notice the percussion in it. It's very
Yeah.
clicky.
Yes. It's all about those high frequencies, ticks, talks, clips. And honestly, if you walk into a club in 2026, tech house is probably the dominant sound. It's the glue of the club world.
Okay, so we've covered the mind with deep house, the machine with tech house. Now I want to talk about the body, the primal side.
Yeah.
Because while Europe was getting technical, New York was doing something very different with drums.
Tribal house.
This is the one that feels like it connects the future back to the ancient past.
That is exactly what it does. Mid-90s New York, you have Danny Tenaglia, Junior Vasquez. They started saying, why are we just using drum machines? Where are the hands?
So they brought in real percussion.
Congas, bongos, timbales, African drums, Latin drums. And in tribal house, the drums aren't just in the background. They are the lead instrument.
The source had a great line about the bass in tribal house being felt more than heard.
That's key. You have this low, rumbling sub bass that shakes the floor. You feel that in your chest. And then on top, you just have this wall of polyrhythmic percussion.
It sounds intense.
It is physically demanding music. It's aggressive, but in an organic way. It hypnotizes you with pure, relentless rhythm.
It's just wild to think about that spectrum. From the cold, accidental squelch of the 303 to the organic, human hand drumming of tribal. They're both house music, but from different planets.
And the 44 template is sturdy enough to hold all of it.
But we can't talk about the history of house without talking about the moment it went nuclear. The moment it left the clubs and just took over the entire world.
The EDM explosion.
We have to talk about electro house and the whole big room era.
Right. This is the shift in the 2000s. And frankly, it was a violent shift.
Violent sonically.
Absolutely. Until then, most house bass lines were warm, round, smooth. Electro house brought in the sawtooth wave.
Describe a sawtooth for us.
Okay. Imagine a smooth sine wave is a hum. A sawtooth is jagged. It's a buzz. Booze, like an electric razor. Producers started using these harsh, distorted bass lines, heavy compression. Think of Benny Benassi's Satisfaction.
Oh, that buzzsaw sound. I remember it vividly. It sounded broken, but in a really cool way.
That track changed the game, and alongside that sound, the structure changed. Electro house really pioneered the architecture of the drop.
The drop. The defining moment of 2010's music.
It became a formula. 32 bars of rising tension snare rolls, speeding up, vocal shouting, everybody jump, and then boom.
Release.
A massive, explosive release. This evolved into big room house with artists like Hardwell, Martin Garrix. It was designed specifically for festivals. It's not subtle. It's trying to get 50,000 people to jump at the exact same second.
The source compares this era to stadium rock.
It's a perfect analogy. Rock started in small clubs, then it became Led Zeppelin in arenas. To fill an arena, you can't be subtle. You need huge, simple riffs. House music did the exact same thing. Big room is house music's stadium rock era.
So we've covered the history, but we're looking at this from 2026. The tree is still growing. What are the branches looking like right now?
Well, one of the most significant developments is Afro house.
Now, hold on. We talked about tribal house. How is Afro house different?
It's a crucial distinction. Tribal house used African or Latin percussion as a texture, as a tool for energy. It was decoration, in a way. Afro house puts the actual musical language of Africa at the center.
So it's about the melody and culture, too.
Melody, spirituality, language, everything. You have traditional instruments, vocal chants, specific polyrhythms, all blended with modern production. It's soulful, like deep house, but rhythmic, like tribal.
And it's influencing everything right now.
It's probably the most in vogue sound globally. It brings a humanity back that maybe got lost in the big room era. And on the flip side, you have things like future house.
That's the bouncy stuff, right?
Right. Oliver Heldens' Chami emerged around 2014. It took the cool vibe of deep house, but gave it the energy of EDM. It has this very specific metallic wobbling bass line.
It sounds, well, futuristic.
And it just keeps going. Bass house, organic house. The what if question never stops.
It's incredible to zoom out. We started with one genre, just a drum machine and a bass line in Chicago. And from that, we got the meditative silence of deep house, the screaming mistake of acid, the 10-minute journeys of progressive, the primal drums of tribal, and the stadium-shaking aggression of big room.
And the best part, they all coexist. You can go to a city tonight and find a club playing any one of these. The family tree didn't just grow up, it grew out.
It seems like the lesson here is that creativity loves a box.
Creativity loves constraints. House music has rules, 120 to 128 BPM, a 44 beat. But within those strict boundaries, people found infinite ways to express every possible emotion.
And it validates the happy accident. I mean, without a failed bass guitar synth, we don't have acid house. We don't have techno as we know it. The musical landscape would look completely different.
100%. The flaw became the feature.
So here's my question for you and for everyone listening. If the history of house is defined by accidental discoveries like the 303 and cultural fusions like Afro House, what is the mistake happening right now?
That's the billion-dollar question, isn't it?
What's the fusion happening in a bedroom studio somewhere that sounds wrong today? What is the kid doing with AI or with a broken piece of software that makes it go, ew, what is that? But that will define the next 30 years of music.
We probably won't even know it until it hits us on the dance floor. And at first, we might hate it, just like they hated acid tracks.
Exactly. So next time you're listening, pay attention. Don't just hear the beat. Listen for the silence of deep house. Listen for the squelch of acid. Listen for the drop. It's all part of the same family.
And remember, if it moves you, it's house.
I'm host speaker.
I'm expert speaker.
And this has been the deep dive into the house music family tree. Thanks for listening.
Stay curious.